Live in this piece. Oh. Hi, you guys. It's Lanee.
And
And
Quoy.
I'm going to go this side. Hey, Quoy. So we're back with the Q&A spotlight. Today's topic is about how to know how to trust yourself when going through denial, as well as some other side topics we'll be discussing. So today's where are you going to start with, Quoy? How have you been? Actually, how's
Oh
life
my
been
gosh,
treating you?
I've been okay, but you know what? I think like everything, I've been so intuitively led that I just don't even realize. And like just right now, this topic about trusting yourself, it's like I'm doing stuff and then I had to look back like, well, I am right where I need to be right now, like type of thing. And I have to remind myself that a lot.
Yeah. See, you do, and that's really important because I've had, and I know you've done this. Like I've had full blown conversations with myself on topics like, dang, should I do this? Is this the right choice to make? Should I go here? Should I do that? Is this the right time? Just all that self doubt, and it can get really tiring. So I'm just like,
Yes.
it's too much sometimes.
And
But
like you just said, it gets tiring. Like it gets like mentally exhausting. And
yeah,
then you're not allowing yourself to trust or bringing enough room in for, your intuition, your higher self, or whoever else to give you those answers that you really need.
and you know what? I feel like a lot of girls do that. Not to call a girl out, but I feel like a lot of women do that when it comes to relationships too. Like I feel like at a point, especially with the gifted community, I feel like at a
Mm,
point we should be able
I'm
to look
guilty
at
of that.
somebody and determine whether they're going to be good for us or not.
It took me a while. And that's the thing, like when you were saying trust yourself, it took me a long while to like really trust myself. And I think I know why you said women because like I'll just go to me. I was one of those women where it would be like something would happen where it'd be like, oh man, like I knew this was gonna happen, and then you go back and it's like I should have trusted myself. And then you start kind of like beating yourself up, which is like, please don't do that. Like that's more damage than somebody else. Like I really feel like it's more damage than somebody else like throwing shade on you because you're like telling yourself consciously and then like all those thoughts come in. And I remember I was like, no more. Like I'm not doing that no more. Like I really had to have a conscious decision. Like, no. It's
Yeah.
scary, but
It's
when you
weird.
trust yourself,
Yeah, it's weird because it's like because I don't know what movie I was watching, but there was this guy. He was talking about um something about how deeply men love or something like that. Like it's almost
ooh,
like he was saying men love deeper. Women fall in love quickly, but men fall in love more deeply. And I feel like it's that type of stuff, like those really strong emotions that kind of pull people into making decisions. And then they're like, oh crap, I made a mistake when something goes wrong or whatever. And then they just end up not trusting themselves
yep.
because
Oh
of
my
that
gosh.
mistake.
Yes. I was just writing about this in my journal actually because it was like you don't trust yourself, you don't trust your heart, because it's like, oh well, I was led by my heart and it let me down. So then now I'm closing it. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, you don't do it because you're closing off love of yourself too. You know,
Right.
and it's just not balanced. Let me turn this off. I thought I had it on silent. Sorry,
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like that when you get your heart broken. I mean, I think people are under the impression that you're not ever supposed to like feel rejection or disappointment. That doesn't mean you that doesn't mean that you failed yourself. It just means that there was a lesson in this. And I think a lot of, and I say women because I'm a woman and that's my experience. I know guys go through that, but I feel like for guys it might be a little different. Maybe one day we'll bring a dude on here to explain it, but right
Yes.
now we're talking from our perspective. So my perspective is just like, dang, what did I? Because sometimes I'll go and I'll rewind that situation and just walk back through it and be like, okay, I probably could have did this different, did that. But
Yeah.
then I go back to the Matrix, to the part where Morpheus says, like, um, he was like, it happened, however it happened, and nothing else could have happened differently. But I'm paraphrasing that. But yeah, it was just like it happened, and it could not have happened no other way. So I think people just have to accept that.
Yeah, you do have to accept that because it's like you go crazy. Just like those movies that they make about like time and stuff, and people be going back in time to like try to change something. And then it just like kind of messes something else up. And it's like, yo, just trust that this happened the way that it happened, the way that you needed to, so you can receive that like message, that I mean lesson, like you were
Mhm.
saying, because it may hurt. I know for me, like rejection was really hard. I did not like rejection, and I constantly kept getting
Nobody
rejected.
likes rejection.
No, even like, and it's so crazy because I'll look back about like with my entrepreneurship, it's like so many rejections, and this is what happens. Like this is literally what happens in entrepreneurship, and I don't know. I look back finally and said, you know what? I came that far. Like I've came so far to have so many rejections. Like, what are you going to do about it? Like, keep going, not give up. Like, absolutely not. So you
That's
learn,
the thing
you
about
learn,
being an
you go for it.
entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the one thing about being an entrepreneur. You cannot give up. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like remember I was telling you, like how I was cold calling people like, hey, I got this product, and because of COVID or whatever, everybody was like, and we gotta see. We'll give you a call back, and it's just you just have to keep going.
You do.
You just gotta trust yourself to not give up.
It's so
Basically.
cheesy, but what popped in my head, I remember somebody showing me something about someone falling, and I think the message was about I think learning from your mistakes when you fall. But then it cut off. The video cut off when she was like down on the ground, and I asked, "Well, what happened when she got back up?" And the
Mhm.
person was like, "I love what you just said because it's true. Like I want to know. I've always wanted to know, like, how do you get back up? You know." But now I can ask myself that since I've fell so many times.
Yeah, you just
You know,
that's a good question. Who asked that?
I've always asked. I've been wanting to know, like, so, like, it's like these crazy stories, and it's like it'll put you down. I'm like, so, can you tell me, like, how did you get back up? I just want to know.
Yeah, I think I mean, it's really about having that inner strength that a lot of people don't have. And,
Right.
like about me, like I had to learn how to be that strong because I feel like it's innately in me.
Yes.
But it's just like sometimes I couldn't understand. Now that I have the strength, I couldn't understand. And it's weird for me to say this because I've been there, but now I'm looking at people who have fallen, and I'm like, yeah, bro, just get back up. Just get back up. Push yourself up and do it again. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
Aaliyah, dust yourself
Yes.
up and try again. Like you just gotta keep
Exactly.
going. But some people if they're so quick to fall into despair that they just let it suck them in. And
Yes.
that's
That's a
one
big
thing
word.
I would like
Despair.
to teach people to not do. Like, don't get sucked back into disparity or your failure because everybody fails. I mean, what did you think was gonna happen? Like in my mind, when as an entrepreneur, and I pursued projects, and I just had it in my mind, like, oh, this is gonna happen this way. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get this reaction, and then next thing I know, I'm doing it, and I'm nothing. I'm not getting anything that I'm
Anything, right?
supposed
Same here. Same here. And it's like, well, what the heck? One time I was getting upset that I made something and I was getting feedback, but it was nothing but good feedback. So then I was like, well, somebody's got to not like it. Like, it's almost like I was like so used to hearing like negative stuff. I was almost like looking for it. Like, oh,
Right,
really?
true,
Like,
true,
okay.
true, true. Like, girl, yes,
Like
true.
any
Like,
response, right? Like, just give
it's
me
so
something.
easy. It's so easy to get into that. Like, why is it so easy for us to think that we can't do something? Why is it not the opposite? Like, where did that come from? That self-defeating mentality. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
why we are so quick to self-sabotage.
that's very true. Again, I know I used to, and I'm so happy that like I'm able to pick it out when I'm doing it and be like, nope, not going there. Like, you know,
So,
because
so you,
sometimes I wasn't aware of what I was doing.
I was just about to say that word. So you became aware, but my question to you is, how did you become aware?
Well,
Did anyone teach you, or you just?
I think that I have this natural thing of like looking at different aspects of the situation and myself. But
Mhm,
people have taught me because it comes to a point where I can only look at so many different things. Like, I don't know if I said this to you or I said to somebody else. It's like me braiding or parting my hair. Like, I can do it, but if I
mhm.
want it done like more efficiently, I need somebody else to look like from a different
Right.
perspective at the part. Like, is
Yeah,
this
girl,
part
look
straight?
at the back of my
You know,
head. It's
it
not.
feels straight, but I mean, I need you to see, like, so it's like you come to a point where it's like, all right, I think I got what I needed, but I still need more, and I'm just not seeing it. I felt like that point for me was like when I felt like I was either talking to a brick wall or beating my head up on a brick wall, and it's like, no, let's get somebody else in here. And so, like, to really answer your question, yes, someone helped me, but it's like I'm a self starter, so it kind of is, I don't want to say easy, but it does come a little natural for me to like start things and think I'm doing what's best for me. But
Mhm.
after a while, it's like, all right, I need some help. I just need some leverage. Can you just lift me up a little bit so I can see what's going on here? And they help me see it.
Girl, I don't know if I can say the same thing. Like, how did I become aware? I mean, it's just really for me, like, cause I'm in my head a lot, so I play things back, and I always think like, dang, like I said earlier, I could have done it differently this way, but I didn't, and I had to figure out why I didn't do it this way, or at least now I know next time not to do it like that, or not to be so quick to like just negative thinking patterns is what
Hmm.
it is. And it's so easy to get so sucked up into that. So
It
I
is.
had to I had to really train myself like mm-mm, mm-mm. And yeah, I still get triggered. Like girl, I get triggered like this past full moon, I was so triggered. Like I was like a
I know. You know
I
what?
was so triggered by little stuff. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm not even it's not even that time. Aunt Flo did not come see me, but it's just like the energy was just very triggering. And
It
certain things, I
was.
just felt like a cat that's been cornered, and people trying to poke at me, and I'm like, don't poke at me, and they still trying to poke at me, and then I'm just like, damn, what's going on here? Like, what is it? But at least I'm aware. That way I can control it. Back then,
The
and
claws
I
come out, right?
and I'm a fire sign. I was like, nope, I couldn't. I had no control over my emotions.
Yeah.
None.
You said something about patterns, and like I think that is what for me helps me become aware is like the patterns. Like, all right, this happened once, this happened twice, this happened 15 times, and then it's like, all right, something's going on here. And if I can't really dig in, then that, like, to me that's the is it the white flag that's like somebody come help, like I
Mhm.
need help, like, because we cycles, patterns, like it happens, it does. And when you're aware of the patterns or the cycles, then it's kind of like, okay, let me swerve this way real quick or do that. Like, it comes like a video game almost, like that you continue to do, you know?
You have to get over that level,
Hmm.
basically. And
Yeah.
that's where I was stuck. I think that's where a lot of people get stagnated at because I could definitely relate. getting over that, trying to, just wanted to like, girl, like I just wanted to get over this wall so badly. And I'm like, y'all, you play in the video game, like you said, give me the cheat code because I'm so sick of dying on this level.
Yes,
Like,
the cheat code.
just cheating. And it's so frustrating. But this segues into the next thing I want to talk to you about, which is
Yes,
past life
talk,
regression,
talk. Come
right?
on here. Yes.
So I was talking to a very dear friend of mine who I haven't spoken to in a long time, and she was telling me like she was going through all these different things in regards to her relationships, and they all had past life connections to them, all up until the point of where she is now. And I was like, so whatever whatever's going on in your life, you have to look back at the past because the patterns might exist way back even before you were born into this life. And it
Yes.
could have been the last life, and the life before that, and the life before that. And I know a lot of people don't believe in past life regression, but that's on them. But
But we
from
do up in here.
but from speaking from personal experience, like that stuff is true. Like that stuff is real.
Me too.
It's
When you said that, like, I think when sometimes it's like when you're aware, then you start digging deeper of like, well, for me, I like to know the root of things, and it's like I'll dig a
where
little
the serious
deeper.
stuff is. No.
Yeah, and then it's like, why can't I see this? And then a lot of times when I've dug deeper, it just has no rational way of understanding. And that to me right there is like a deep core wound that usually may have been like traveled or held onto from past lives. To me, in my mind, like I haven't had a past life regression. I would love to.
I
But
can
I
look you up.
Cause like abandonment for issue, like for instance, like
Oh my gosh,
I've
yes.
had abandonment issues, and I say had because I feel like wherever I'm at right now, I feel like I've been able to see a certain situation. But I feel like something like that is like just layers on layers keep like as soon as you get through level 1 of abandonment, then it's like, oh, level 2, level 3. And it's like, well, dang, how far does this go back? So
I mean, like it was just like she was saying, why? Because like I said, she was married or she was about to marry this individual, and he was like, Shh, "I'm out." He bailed on her, right? And so, she has this uncanny ability to just kind of have like regressions, I guess, randomly right then and there or whatever. And what
mm,
she said she saw
that's
was,
interesting.
in a past life, he had did something similar, and it was just like a reoccurring pattern. And I always say, if you choose to do a past life regression, then I think you should use it to look into your relationships with friends, family,
Yeah.
partners, whatever, because that could really, really be a reason why you're going through the things that you're going through right now. And it's
Because
so interesting. It's so interesting to see, like, cause that, like, the whole thing, like, and sometimes I have to bring this back up because, and you're not going to be that exact person you were in a past life, but you're still like that soul, right? You're still like that spirit. Your
mm-hmm.
body is different. So it's just different situations, cultures, traditions, nationalities, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just, you have to really, really, really think about what it is that you want to heal from when you take the journey anyway.
I do think that it gives you greater purpose or greater value when you kind of understand what exactly you want to work on at that time.
Right.
And something you said about relationships brings me to kind of like karma. Like, with every action is a reaction. And karma is not to say that it's like bad or even good maybe, but it's just like the reaction to the action,
Mhm.
in order to understand a reaction, you have to be involved some way, shape, or form with another person. More than likely, unless you're like boiling water or something, and then water splats in your face. But that's an action and a reaction, you
Yeah.
know?
Like people that have a fear of water and they say that, oh, it's because you drowned in the past life. Or I don't even know how this would relate, but people who have died tragically. Oh,
Hmm.
and this is what she was sharing with me. Like, when
Okay.
people go through traumatic experiences with individuals and they come back as family members and you're wondering like why you can't stand that individual, it is because you guys had a really harsh history in your past life. And again, for those of y'all who don't believe in past lives, that's that's your choice. But
Hmm.
like I said, I have experienced some very interesting things, and
Me too. Like, I love my sister to death, but I was just talking about how it's like this picture that we have. Like, I was a baby. I'm talking about a baby. I must have been like 1 or 2. And
mm,
she's like hugging me, cheesing. Almost looks like she has me in a headlock. She's hugging me so hard, right? And I'm looking like, if you don't get off me. And my mom was talking about how like when I came here, I kind of had this like about my sister. I love my
mm,
sister to death, but certain things and experiences that we have went in this lifetime, I feel like has shown me there's some craziness, chaotic thing that probably carried over.
oh
Because
yeah,
I'm telling you, it's like it's always like this. I just use chaotic, like certain
right.
things. Like I got tired of it, and then like I think I offended her years ago because it was just like I'm tired of it. I'm just working on me. But when you said that, like traumatic, traumatic things sometimes is like boom, like I don't know, and then you really do remember certain things, but you really have no idea. Um, I know I definitely would get. I know exactly who I would want to see or reveal something with a few individuals in my life
Hmm.
if I went in to do a past life regression. I would.
If you're interested, you should definitely do that because, like I said, you will not know. But also, she gave me a word of caution too. She was like, you might find something that will disturb your spirit. So, it's just being aware and being cautious about what you find
I
and
wonder
what.
what do they do with that though? Because that's what I've always like. Remember when we were before we were on live, I was talking about like certain information is like, do I need to know this right now? Like sometimes you're not sure if you're ready for certain information, even
Well, you
though if the person's
know when it
conducting,
happens. You
huh?
will know. I said you will know when it happens.
Yeah, because like I think if the person's conducting it, usually they know like, all right, this person isn't ready for this, or they'll feel that like some
Mhm.
way, shape, or form. Because I don't know, I've only got to speak to one person, and they were talking about how they like connect with your guides and spirits or whatnot, and like they'll tell them like, okay, she's not ready for this, like type of thing. But whatever comes up, like I don't
Right,
know how true because again, I never had one, so I don't know.
right, right. I think because she's supposed to go into it, and then how she explained it to me is like she'll set the intention of, create the space basically,
Okay, yeah.
and you go into it because you have to have a talk first about the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and they ask you questions and you answer them, and I guess because she's what she does, she leads by intuition, and with the regression thing, it's like you're telling her what's happening. She's just guiding you through
Mhm.
what's, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, girl, where were we?
Like the person's guiding you and like we were talking
Right,
about like the information, like how it could be shocking to your soul at the same time. Probably
yeah,
not to your soul, but because your soul already went through it in a way. So, but it's just shocking to you, basically. I know what you're
right.
saying.
Because it's like you're remembering what's happening. You're like seeing stuff, but you feel disconnected from it. But then because she also does this thing, okay, so she creates the space, you have a conversation, whatever. And the space is created with the intention of you exploring what these issues are and for them to come to the surface. And then it's like some energy work that takes place as well to help
Hmm.
transmute that energy. So when she did my past life regression in the time when I was, doing my thing in doing my thing in Kemet or Egypt, what she did for me at the very end was transfer that energy of who I was then to what I am now, or like connect it. So
Mhm.
I think, and I'm not sure if that was before I started making my jewelry or after I started making my jewelry, but I feel like, because I was told that I used to do things like what I'm doing now in past life.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think, me working with alchemy and learning about all this different stuff, I feel like a lot of that had a lot to do with the connection she kind of tied together for me in my past life. Cause
Yeah.
yeah, girl, I'm like, but I feel like it took its time though. Like the energy takes its time. At least for me, it did.
I think it does because just like if you get like Reiki done, no matter what type of Reiki, um I think it takes time. You know, it may take a day, it may take a few hours, it may take a couple of weeks or months, but there are usually like awarenesses, epiphanies, or just some type of shift within your body that you'll feel because it'll be, I don't know, it'll be subtle or it'll be like abrupt, whatever, but I'm sure you'll understand like usually
Yeah,
that,
remember I was
you
sharing
know.
with you my Kundalini experience,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I was like, man, it felt like somebody was rattling my skeleton off.
Yeah.
Right? I
Energy
was like,
work.
what the hell?
Yeah.
I
It's
felt
so
like,
hard to explain with energy work. Cause like
yeah,
it's experienced differently with everybody, but it could be just like a, a mental experience, an emotional experience, or physical type of thing. But it's all spiritual if you ask me. So, you know, just how it happens, I guess.
yeah. And I think because as we get introduced to more energy, I feel like it changes too. And I feel
Mm.
like it changes you as well. Like you're not the same after you get a Kundalini activation. At least for me, I didn't feel like I was the same. And I could be different 5 years from now, who knows? But I definitely felt like it was some serious changes that went on. But I didn't really understand what they were. So I was
You just know, right? It's like somehow you just know. But
Yeah, it's like some things come innately, like instinctual, and but other
Mhm.
times I want people to explain stuff to me. Like when I was sharing with the group, like how I was seeing that red satellite, and I was like, "What is that? That's not Mars," and I knew it wasn't Mars. It was, but I still
Yeah.
sure, like But then we found out what it was. And I was like, okay, so now I have to go do some more research, and everything is just kind of coming full. Like everything is just so synchronistic. Everything. Whew,
So
tiring though.
I want to say, like, I feel you on that because the Akashic reading I had, like, there was like a subtle shift, but
Mhm.
again, like, I know when you said, like, it's just something's not the same anymore, you know? It's like, something changed. You can't really put your finger on it, but
Right,
you know that it just, something changed.
right. When I had my Akashic, I was like, word? Stuff starting to make sense. But
Mhm.
this is my thing about spirituality though. Like when you find a piece to that puzzle, it like opens up another door. And I got like a whole load full of more questions. Like,
Almost like somebody just wiped the puzzle and said, here's a new one.
like, okay, now that I know that this is what happened, what does that mean? What am I supposed to do with the information? It's just
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
And for me, I just had to really think about, okay, do I pursue this? Do I but the past life progression thing really, it only answered like one thing, because to me it was just one lifetime. I wasn't even trying to go in depth. I only got the regression honestly because of my relationship with someone else. I wanted to see, kind of get that confirmed. And since it
Mhm.
was, I was like, okay, so that explains why I feel this way for this certain person, why I feel that way about this person. But
So did
that's
you
just
confirm?
that's just one person.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't like confirm anything else about like just like I guess your relationship style or it just was specifically for that person basically.
Girl, I think it kind of like when I'm sitting here thinking about, because I gotta tell y'all the story. I haven't told y'all the story about that at all, have I?
I
But
mean, if you want to tell. If
girl,
not, it's okay. I
yeah,
totally understand.
it's just for me. I felt like I got the impression that throughout many lifetimes, I played really powerful female roles, and I'm pretty sure I was a male too in my
Hmm.
past lives, or because I feel that energy as well. And I was probably hella hot as well. But as a female, like I feel like I played a lot of I was a like I could have been a witch. I know I was a priestess. I feel like I would have been a warrior as well. And I played all these really powerful female roles. But when it came to relationships with my counterparts, it was like
It was the opposite.
it was like they're either a spot of great pain or just great disappointment.
Mm.
And
I feel that.
I didn't take it well at all. Like I think what they call it, crimes of passion going on.
Girl, I'm probably sure that happened to me. I can imagine. I can imagine. I don't know, but I really, because I was thinking, I know one girl, she said she got a past life regression done. And she
Hmm.
told me some like weird thing. I don't know exactly. She had an explanation on why, but basically she killed her husband or like maybe father or something. And I was like, dang. But she wound up telling me like something how I don't know. It was crazy. It was like a whole story to it. I'm like, okay, I guess. Like, but I can see that kind of because you know why? When you think about it though, like, I guess ages back, sometimes the conscious doesn't really realize like this isn't right or this isn't wrong. But it's like you can feel it in your heart, you know? Almost like is it Ma'at? You know, I don't remember the guy, but the scales being weighed, you know, the feather in the heart. You know,
Yeah.
it's almost like you did something. You might not have known if it was right or wrong, but the scales say that your heart is heavy. Sorry, boo boo. Like, you know?
But now you have the opportunity to like go and balance it back in this life, but we have to
Yes,
discover it first.
yes,
And
you
a
do.
lot of people are not gonna discover it because they're not gonna go and do that. They're just gonna be like, oh,
Mm-mm.
there's something wrong with that person, and
Mhm.
oh, you know what? They're just gonna be a puppet to it, I guess,
Yeah.
and keep going on and not bother to ask. But that's why I also like studying Vedic astrology because Vedic astrology can tell you about your karma as well. So that's why I
Like
suggest
the South Node, right?
hmm,
Like the South Node and the North Node, kind of like I know that kind of talks about. I don't know if that's in Vedic because I really don't know what type of astrology I'm drawn to. I never really noticed or thought to think of like the different types. I just
hmm.
know whatever I see usually is like what I pick up on. Um,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
remember like in your chart is a South Node and it's supposed to represent like your karmic pattern or like some type of way of characteristics that you had from a past life. And then the North Node is kind of like what you're aspiring to be.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
okay, all
I
right.
think that is for the tropical. So
Okay. Okay.
Vedic is like the sidereal, where it's based on more Eastern astrology, like um, Hindu, Indian, things like that. But yeah, so that I think that one is more specific because they say it's more accurate. So
See, I
it's
have to look at it. I never knew that I was looking at tropical all this time. I really didn't know.
yeah, tropical is like the Western astrology. But with the Vedic or the sidereal, they go into like what your spouse could do, like your career, what career you should be doing, if you should run a business or if you should be an employee. They talk about if you're gonna settle in a foreign land or if you're gonna marry a foreigner, like all that stuff. They talk about all of it. When you're gonna get married, um, health, things like this. I just feel like it's more detailed, so that's why I like it. And it kind of helps you figure out, especially if you're like dating and you want to find a particular individual and you're just like, okay, I already know what I'm looking for because some people don't know what they want. So I feel like
Yeah.
astrology helps them, move that along a little bit. So they'll go out and I'm like, okay, so I know, because some people are karmic. And the thing that's conflicting for me is like maybe you're supposed to be in a karmic relationship before you get to your divine counterpart so that you can learn whatever you need to learn. But at the same time, I feel like astrology is like a cheat sheet because it will kind of like,
Yeah, but see, the thing about karmic too that I've heard as well, like sometimes
mm,
the person is right for you, but you may be playing out like a karmic lesson because maybe you guys both signed up to have this experience so something greater can come. I don't know, something like that somebody has told me before. And then some things are just to be like, just waddle away kind of and expand. Well, you're always expanding from karmic once you can understand what the lesson is. But I don't know.
mm,
It was something like karmic partners versus karmic lessons, I think I was watching. And, sometimes like the more distinct of what the lesson actually is. But then again, karmic and lessons are kind of like that's kind of like a what's a redundant like sentence almost to me in a way, because like the karma is supposed to teach you and the lesson teaches you too, kind of. So I don't know.
um, well, what I'm getting like, yeah, I think it's just all a lesson. Like that person, that situation, the
Hmm.
reaction, the emotions, I
Hmm.
feel like all of it's a lesson. It
Yeah.
might, like I said, back in past life, it might be unfinished business. Like, what if you
Yeah.
had agreed? Because what was she telling me? It was something so insane. But she was like, you could have been this person who had agreed to marry someone in this life, but you didn't. And now the next person that comes along in this life, like, is gonna be that person. You have to finish out that karma. I was like, dang, why is karma so petty? Like, obviously, I
I
didn't want to
know.
marry.
It is like petty, right? That's
Like,
so funny you said that word. Oh my
like,
gosh, I don't know. My heart was just fluttering for something for a second when you said
oh,
that.
oh, is that what you did to somebody?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I would get you can get a past life regression or an akashic because how she explained to me is that she transfers energy from that lifetime to this lifetime in both sessions. But with the akashic, it's she's the guide. But with the regression, you're the guide or something like that. Like
Okay,
you're
that makes sense. That makes
yeah,
sense.
you're telling it, and she's like asking, okay, what's next? What do you see? How do you feel? Just kind of like
Yeah.
being that support. Where in the akashic, she's seeing it and then telling you what she sees.
That's it. That part. Cause like I'm like, I know they're very similar, but at the same time, it's like subtle differences. And what you just said makes sense. Like, I don't know. I really love that. I love the term. I feel like I don't want to say I've been obsessed, but like since young, which boggles my mind. Like I can remember saying this to someone like 14, 13, talking about, yeah, I think you're from like a past life. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I swear to you, like I can remember two people distinctly having these conversations with. And I'm like, how though? Like, I don't know. But they were. I know they were. I don't have proof, but I know they were. Just how relationship
Feeling
of
your soul knows, like your soul is a proof, but you can't like prove that to other people. You just have to have it. Just trust in yourself. You just have to believe
mhm.
what your soul is telling you. You know what I mean?
Cause like, have you heard of soul recognition? I guess is I think is that the
Yes.
term? It was like I don't know. It just was like I don't like. It just was like literally like magnets, just literally like, and then it just felt like frozen, kind of. And then you just look at that person like, I know you, but you don't know them.
Yes, I've heard
You
that, but
know?
I've never experienced it.
Okay, I
You
have. I
have?
have.
Okay, tell me.
Actually, more than once. And I'll tell you this, one of them was a good experience. You know, there was some little whatever, because this was actually like a romantic relationship. The other person, same thing, but it was so horrible. Like, it was like a horrible transaction in some way, shape, or form. I was like caught in this, but I was able to get out. and it happened like in like the good one happened first, and then the bad one was like I guess it was just weird because it was still I remembered that soul recognition, that magnetism, and I thought it was good, like, but my soul probably knew like you had to experience this. Like this is the guy that's going to help you grow. Unfortunately, he's going to cause you a lot of pain, but he's going to help you grow. And the first one, he didn't cause that much pain, but it just was like hiccups, like everyday stuff. It wasn't like la di da, everything was perfect, but yeah, I remember that, and I'm just like, I don't know. But here we go again with the karma. Like, regardless, it's like you kind of like fate almost. Like, like things are just fated, I guess, if people believe in that. So,
Yes. Yeah. So it's like how you I don't because this is my thing. Like I said, you can run away from fate, all right? This is your fate or your destiny or whatever. And maybe we'll talk
yeah.
about that in the video, like the difference between destiny and fate and how they
Hmm.
work together. But to me, it's like if you're destined for something, then nothing you can do can change that. But I feel like your fate, it can change.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
feel.
I've heard vice versa. Like, I've heard nothing you can do can change the fate. And then, like, your destiny can kind of change if you choose
Yeah, maybe
to
I said it
accept it.
backwards. I think
But
that's what
I don't know though, honestly, because I
I.
kind of feel like I don't know. Fate and destiny are kind of like very similar too. So I don't know. But some things are like just like there for you to experience no matter how you try to run away from it. It's just always going to show up.
Mhm.
But some
Girl,
things I
like
think
people, like certain people, certain
yeah.
patterns of people that keep coming along, no matter when you're,
Yeah.
they just keep popping up, and that's not always a bad thing.
No,
It's
it's
just
not.
like I was telling you about a particular individual who would not be,
Mhm.
like, the individual just keeps popping up in like what I call my time life, like my lifetime, I guess. And I'm just like, why are you? Am I supposed to help you? So that's how I look at it now. But back to that magnetism thing, what I'll call that imprinting because I don't have a better word for it. But
Okay.
I've never experienced that. I've heard about it. I heard when people experience that, like I was watching this one video and this individual was talking about when he experienced it, he was just walking down the street. And when he saw, this other person, he was just like, like it was like a Shakespeare moment, I guess. And I was like, wow.
That's a
I
nice
don't know
way to
that's
say
like,
that.
what's that like?
For me, it's funny you said Shakespeare moment because both times it like happened in the very beginning of me knowing this person, and one of them was kind of like a Shakespeare moment because I remember just catching eyes with that person and asking like somebody was next to me. I'm like, who is that? Like I don't hardly have to tell it. Who is that? And then one time, a friend of mine, we were going to meet somebody, and I knew the name, but I remember I was like, why? Who is like I don't know. I kept saying the name. And then when we got there, we were looking for people. And then I was like, boom. And I looked and he looked and I was like, is that him? And I swear, like we were I don't know, we could have been a good 50, 100 feet away. And I felt like he heard me because as soon as I said, is that him? He stared at me and I was like, oh my gosh. Like
So
it
you
just
could feel each other's energy across
yeah,
the room.
it was crazy, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. Even
Did you
both
pursue
times. Like,
that or what was that? You didn't pursue it?
no, I did. I did. Both of those soul recognitions, I did pursue
Okay.
that. 'Cause, like me and my curious soul, that's what I'm saying. And one person, it was good. And the other person just tore me in half, but like whatever. I
Now
do
the other person, did we talk about him before? Like, is he the same person from the
I'm trying to
previous
get
discussion?
information out of me.
Girl, listen, I'm
Read no comment, no
telling
comment.
was it the really ratchet bad experience? I'm talking about that person.
Okay, the ratchet bad experience.
Please tell
What?
me you only that way.
I,
Like the
yeah, like
person.
the soul recognition that I had with one of them, it did turn into a
Okay,
ratchet experience. It did. It did. It
okay,
did.
okay. I got you. I got you. All right, that's what I was trying to figure out
You
because
know, it did
listen,
turn into him. Like I said, like he tore me in half. Just it just was a bunch of drama that but I get it. Like I kind of feel like a lot of my lessons though I think were for me to kind of just stand in my power. Um, a lot of lessons that I can remember, especially when it comes to guys, it was more about me standing in my power. Um, because even like I remember having certain experiences with bosses that were men, and literally each boss started turning into the same vibe, but a different person. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? I'm not even lying with jobs. It was like this guy again, but it's a different face and different name.
really, so it was like the same energy was revisiting you.
Yes. And with the jobs, it was more of like me toning my anger down, like maybe something with my masculine energy. I don't know. I that's how I feel like with the jobs it was more of something with my masculine energy.
Hmm.
And then like the romantic relationships, I think it was something with my feminine energy. So, I
Hmm.
don't know. That's what I've my conclusion thus far.
I would definitely look into that because that's very interesting.
It
It could
is.
definitely be. I mean, because anybody that's ever like, I'm starting to think that that man I had as a boss in Georgia could have been like a slave master from a past life.
Girl.
Me and that man did not get along at all. Like, and
Mhm.
sometimes I was okay with him, I was cool with him, and other times he just got so bad. And I don't even
Mhm.
know why I care because he was a complete stranger.
Mhm.
And it was
Mhm.
multiple people in that place where I worked. And certain people just I did not mesh with people at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, and to me, because this is before I awakened, like this is before, I started to get more conscious. But I'd be like, what? But I was being myself. Like, I don't know what it was, but I was being triggered and I said what was ever on my mind and I did not stop, okay?
You
Like
didn't.
when he told me something, girl, it was something stupid, something so stupid. He had called me up and okay, rewind. First of all, he was giving out paperwork for everybody, or he was giving out schedules. And he handed a schedule to me, and I really didn't need him to give that to me because that was something he's supposed to have. And from what I remember, he must have got, you know how people are so busy throughout the day, they get discombobulated and they say and they do things and they twist their words up
Yes,
and
yes.
communication happens. So he got on the phone, he called me, girl. He was like, "Where's that schedule?" I was like, "What schedule?" I was about the schedule I gave you. I was like, um, I think I had left it with someone like with my supervisor or whatever, but what I would need with a schedule for, you know? And he's like, "Oh, well, you need to find it." Click. And
I had something similar to this story. Keep going.
and I was like, "No, he didn't."
That's so rude. That is so rude.
It was so rude. And it just reminded me because this is back in Georgia. And it's just a different type of feel out there when
Mhm,
you got all these little other employees, and then you got
mhm,
different kinds of bosses, and they're
mhm.
not like the employees, they're different.
Yeah.
And when, you know, when he came to me or whatever, I told him straight up like this, like, listen, I didn't appreciate your tone over the phone. And he apologized and he was like, yeah, yeah, I'm so sorry. Like we can't afford to lose you, something like that or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, whatever, sucker duck. Listen, I'm not falling for that sweet talk. Like, y'all only paid me $7 to work up in here, and I already got.
Yeah, trying to give you he wants you to be on your good side so you don't call out or fire or get quit on him or something.
I quit anyway, girl. I'm gonna tell you one day about the day that I quit, or the days before I quit. This man tried to write me up. The other one, the one I did not get along with the most. He tried to write me up, and over something crazy, like, because I was working at this store called Kroger, and I was stocking shelves, and the supervisor was a hot mess, and she would have all this stuff for us to do, and we were already understaffed, so they expected me to like staff to like stock up like rows and aisles worth of products in this short
Yeah.
amount of time, and I didn't have the help that I needed. And so when it was time for me to clock out, I did my best, but whatever, it's just not gonna get stocked up.
Yeah. I get done what I get done, basically.
Like when it's time for me to go, I'm out of here. I don't care what's left. And
Mm-hmm.
so they tried to write me up for that, and I was like, wait a minute, what about all the other people that weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing? And the supervisor or the lead or whatever, I was like, you gonna write her up too? He said, I don't write up whoever I need to write up. He was getting all mad or whatever. But so anyway, he just said he was gonna write me up. He said, that's fine. I resign anyway because I had already turned in my resignation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was so mad. Like they just stopped. Like how you do 2 weeks notice? That's what I did. But they just stopped putting me on the schedule.
Oh my gosh.
She told me if you have any questions, go see him. I said, I don't need to go see him. What questions I got? I don't care. Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like good riddance. I'm good.
Like I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm out here. Bye. I did all I could do. Like I'm not breaking my fingers for no $7 an hour. Like forget that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I hear
Next.
you. I've had
And then
jobs
he had
like
to
that.
say that he pays us really well. Are you kidding me? People got paid like that much in the 80s. Stop
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay? Stop it.
People. I mean, I guess that's why people aren't supposed to talk about, price range in employment. But at the same time, it's kind of like I don't get paid enough for this, and I will leave because I'm just not.
Right.
But I've never really like certain things with jobs. I've always had this mindset like I'm not going all out. This is not my business. Like so,
Yeah.
I
Like
honestly
they
don't care how much you pay me.
like this is why we're entrepreneurs, right? We're like, listen, we're gonna work hard, but we gonna bleed and we gonna sweat. We gonna bleed and sweat over our dreams, not anyone else.
Exactly.
Okay, but
Exactly.
it goes back to trusting yourself, making the
Exactly.
right
It does.
decision, and really learning what it is that you really want. Like when I was telling you how I wrote down like how much I wanted to make, how much I needed to sell to make this, how much I wanted to make a month, how
Hmm.
much that is,
Yeah.
every, stuff like that. So I really
Yeah.
had to break that down, and I'm so glad I did that. But it's just like it's crazy. It's crazy that people out here making $8 an hour.
Okay. I've had really low paying jobs and I had really decent amount, like good amount paying jobs too.
Right.
But again, like I just had that mentality where it's like, y'all not going to treat me any type of way. And
Exactly. Exactly.
you expect me to be here gun ho for you guys, but
Like,
like I don't know.
oh,
Mm-mm.
I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Even
No.
when I
And
had really good
people
paying
will
job.
say to you too, like, oh, you left that job? That was a good paying job. I'm like, I'm not gonna tap dance for somebody just because I'm getting money's getting rained on me. Like it just that just I just don't like I just don't equate to that at all. So whatever. I trusted me and I trusted where I need to be. So and it
And now
wasn't
look
good.
at you. You're getting there. You're getting there. So oh, by the way, Jeff Bezos stepped down as the CEO of Amazon. Did you hear about that?
No, I did not. I did
Yeah,
not. But
he stepped.
why? Why
You
did
know,
he do that?
I don't know. I guess they'll talk about it more in the news later on. But I was like, I
I
wonder why
wonder.
he stepped
I don't
down.
want to put no bad thing on anybody's name, but I know I've read a few times when people are high up that actually step down, it's usually because they don't want to be put on spotlight because some let me
Scandal.
stop. Let me stop. I don't know this person.
Scandal going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
I,
anything about
but
that.
before the pandemic hit, there was like a whole list. CEO to actually step down from their companies.
Mm.
And I was like, really? And it was like a bunch.
Wow.
Okay, so we'll
Well,
find out. We
oh
will
my
find out.
goodness.
So, all right. So, do we have any closing remarks?
Please don't mind me with the yawning. I just need more oxygen, y'all. um, closing remarks. Really when I decided to trust myself though, things did start looking better, and the biggest thing I can say was just recognizing like my mindset of like seeing things from a lack standpoint and an abundance standpoint. And you know, that does help too. Like trusting yourself no matter what. And when you feel that fear creeping up, it's like, no, let's think in a more abundant mindset and let's do this here and trust that it will work out.
Right, right. Trust that it will work out. That's what you gotta do. That's what I do. I do.
Yeah, it has to build the faith, that you have within yourself and whatever else outside of you. So
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of us, right now, we're not where we want to be in life. Like, I know I'm not where I want to be in life
same
exactly.
here.
If I were to
Same here.
paint a picture of where I want to be right now, it would not be exactly here, but I'm still
Mhm.
grateful because, a lot of people don't have the type of opportunities that I have. So I am still grateful and I'm working towards my goals. But
Yes,
it's just like, dang, when are we gonna make it? When are we gonna do? But you really gotta keep
I know.
going and
Yeah,
trusting yourself and trusting the process. So
you do. Absolutely. I love how you use gratitude because gratitude does wonders and really spikes your vibe high, like more than anything.
it
Really
truly
does.
does. It really does. And I had to learn that because
Me
I was
too.
like, I don't care. I'm running out of stuff to be grateful for. Like I don't know what else to be.
I know. Me too.
I, yeah, and it's just like okay, because it's supposed to raise your vibrations, right? I mean,
Yes, absolutely.
and it changes your perspective. And when you change your perspective, it's like all the information gets to come to you now, like the ideas, the thoughts,
Exactly.
the feelings. Because when you're stuck in like that other place, that deep dark place, like you can't see past that. Which is why I say do not fall into despair regardless of what
No,
happens. Like, get back up
no.
and you gotta try again.
And gratitude helps you, to me, be present because you can either look back at, why you're feeling this despair, or sometimes we get too ahead of ourselves and think of things that didn't happen. And it's like, wait, what's happening right now? And I need to be grateful for that.
Right. Right. I mean, stuff sucks.
That
No
does
one's saying
suck.
that you can't feel a certain way, but don't feel that way too long. Don't let it control every action that
Yes,
you
yes. Say that again.
make.
Absolutely.
Okay? I will say it again. Don't let it control every action that you make because it will be the
Yes.
wrong one because it's coming from a place of despair.
Mm-hmm.
So turn that frown upside down.
Yes.
And that's really all it is to it at the end of the day. Because girl, I have to catch myself. Like I'm not a master at this at all, but I've gotten selectively better at changing my perspective and showing gratitude, and it does
Mhm.
really help. It
It
does
does.
really help.
It
Yeah,
does.
I mean, my mansion and my winning lottery ticket didn't populate out of thin air, but at the same
Yes.
time, I feel a lot better than when I did before I started implementing practices. So there you have it.
Mm-hmm. Same here, definitely. You know, I'm not gonna waste any more time thinking about shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or what is not what's going wrong. It's just I'm gonna focus on something else more positive.
Exactly. And that's really it. Just focus on positive, because there's too much negativity out here as is. Like you don't need to add to it. You don't need to pay attention to it. You don't need to keep consuming it. It's
Mm-hmm.
way too much negativity. Like go put on,
Control you.
yeah. So that's what I say. go put on something positive, go work out. Like I'm at the point now where I'm working out more. Like that's how I'm managing stress. So
That
you know,
does help though. It does help because every time I do that, like I've noticed that about myself too. Sometimes I get so focused on work, right? It's just I don't know, it's just the way that I work. Sometimes I get really super focused. And then it's like, oh my gosh, the day went by. I didn't go outside or didn't even like move my body. And the blood pumping, it needs to go to your brain and move around with the heart. Like it does help you feel better too. So that's for sure something that is needed in everybody's life.
exactly. Yeah. Well, all right, Coy. Thank you for joining me today on this wonderful. What astrological sign are we in right now?
Aquarius, we're still in Aquarius.
I feel like Venus went into Aquarius too for some
Oh,
reason.
did it?
I think
A lot
it did.
going on, right? I don't
Yeah,
know.
don't quote me. So if you feeling the love and you feeling like you want to take care of yourself and you just want to communicate your feelings or whatever, call a boo thing up and just tell them like, listen, in front of the bottom of my heart, I just want to let you know I'm here for you.
Hmm. Yes.
But all right, you guys, this has been Q&L Spotlight. Don't forget to like,
Yes. Thank
comment, and
you.
subscribe. Until next time, we will see you guys.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.